What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So today, we're talking about potentially the best primary in the entire game. I wanted to wait until they fixed the galvanized condition overload mods on some weapons, but I've been testing this thing, and honestly, if these mods are actually bugged on this weapon specifically, this thing will just be even more stupid once the mods are fixed. So that's why I'm looking at it right now. So before we get into it though, make sure you're subbed to the channel and all that stuff. Appreciate all the support lately. It's been really awesome. Alright, so the weapon we're talking about today. Now this is amazing. It is amazing. Make sure you got it because this is a weapon I recommend to every single player now. It's called the Bubonico. You can also call it Bubonico if you prefer that. This thing is an infested arm cannon that comes from the clan dojo. It requires I think like 10 mutagen mass resource to build, so that can be kind of annoying. But what we got here is an infinite ammo arm cannon. It basically goes over your right arm, and it's gigantic. It covers your entire screen too. Master rank 13 with a 25% crit chance on the primary shot with a 2.3 multiplier. This thing is a shotgun, uses shotgun mods. Damage fall off 19 to 41. I don't really usually notice that much. 3.83 fire rate and a 27 round magazine with 7 pellets fired innately. It's also got some built-in punch through and reload. Decent 0.5 reload speed. That's the reload delay, actually, because this thing is infinite ammo and it's like a battery magazine. So don't worry too much about the reload speed. Status per projectile is 9.3, and you got 7 projectiles innately. The primary shot has built-in toxin damage. It's also highly slash-weighted, and it basically has no impact. These damage types on this primary shot are amazing. Like, you could not really ask for much better than that. Very, very good there, and this is a crit-focused primary shot. But this thing also has an alt fire. This is basically a refresher if you don't remember any of this stuff from before. The secondary shot has an explosive triple burst. You press the alt fire button, 3 explosion shots go out, with a very low 3% crit chance, but a very high 3.5 multiplier. So if you can force this thing to crit, it will be doing some big damage, and we'll actually show that in some Steel Path gameplay right here. So yeah, the way basically this goes is if you can force the secondary shot to crit, it has built-in viral damage, and it's got very high status chance. So since it's got built-in viral damage, you can make crazy combinations of elements like corrosive, viral, and heat. That's actually the build I'll be recommending to most people. But you could even go down these, since it has such high status chance on the secondary shot, you go down the condition overload proccing route and do corrosive, viral, cold, or maybe just viral and cold. Not many weapons can do that, but this thing can. And the build I'm going to show you for status proccing has 200 and something % status chance. So you will be proccing a lot of status. Honestly, maybe more status than you might need. But let's quickly show how it works in the simulacrum while we also have some gameplay right here. So the primary shot, it's crit focused, fires off a bunch of these infested darts. And as you can see right here, the magazine's going down, but I have no ammo pool because we have infinite ammo. Once it goes all the way down, you wait 0.5 seconds, and it starts refilling back up. It's about like 15, 20 rounds per second it reloads. Press the secondary shot, you fire off 3 explosion shots, which explode in the area. Now, there is one pretty annoying issue with that secondary shot, but we'll go over it in a second. Let's first show the build I will recommend, and remember, this will be a no-ribbon build here. And like I said, I'm keeping this potentially bugged mod on here for now, because if they fix this, and if this is actually broken right now, you'll be getting about another couple 100% extra damage on here, and this thing will be, it might just be the best gun in the game. Alright, so the mods we've got going on here, we want to make sure that we have corrosive, so electric and toxin, and we also want to have a fire mod for heat. The reason we want that is because it will let us have viral, corrosive, and heat on our explosion shot in the secondary. It will also make it so it's corrosive and heat on the primary shot, and since we're not running hunter munitions on this build, you actually do want to go for prime charge shell for increased elemental damage. If you want to go down a big viral damage route with no, I guess you could put 100 munitions on anyway, Prime Chilling Grass will give you a bunch of ice damage as well. I know a lot of people don't like the cleanse mods. That's okay. If you don't like the cleanse mods, there are other options in that slot as well. You could just honestly put point blank in that slot and you're totally fine. The damage numbers on the arsenal display might be higher, but if you're fighting Grenier or if you're fighting Infest or whatever, slotting in your cleanse mod, the prime version, is going to be your best bet. And since we have Primary Merciless giving us 300% or 360% increased damage once you get 12 kills, Prime Point Blank and all that are not as important. Honestly, Galvanized Savvy might even be the best option once this mod's potentially fixed. But yeah, everything else, crit chance on the critical deceleration. Primary, this mod was buffed a while back, actually like a week ago. So very nice, 3 weeks ago. Now it's going to give us 75% crit chance on the primary shot, and unfortunately still just 9% crit chance on the secondary shot, which is why I definitely would recommend that you run Arcane Avenger when you're rocking this thing. Galvanize Hell, just you need to run these multi-shot mods if you have them. They come from the arbitrations. And Prime Ravage. I know it's not maxed out. Get over it. We've also got Blaze on here for 60% increased damage and 60% heat. You could technically go with the status chance mod in here instead for, you're going to have 171% status chance on the secondary shot, but you'll be losing, a chunk of damage. It's about like 1,400 damage on this displayed stat right here, which of course, that is not exactly how much you'll be doing in mission. All right, so let's show this. So the reason I don't have it format properly is because I have a Riven mod I usually run this slot. But if you have it all formatted out properly, you can either run Galvanized Acceleration for increased damage fall off in this Exilus slot, or Vigilante Supplies, an unranked one, just to give you better crits. You'll make your crits go from yellow to orange, and from orange to red. So let's just show it against some heavy gunners, or I guess they're called Exo Goose Drag officers, in the Simulacrum. We're going to summon in 12 Butchers to get our Merciless stacks up, and I'm going to show you 2 other builds as well. We're going to show a Status Procker build, and a Viral Hunter Munitions build with a Riven. Alright, so get all those kills, and it's like basically a 2-shot after that. Now keep in mind, we do have Arcane Avenger proc. I would definitely recommend that you have Arcane Avenger going forward, as it is a very nice way to buff your primaries up. Especially since, as you can see right there, this is a no Riven build. With that Avenger proc, the secondary shot tears through these heavy gunners like they're made out of paper, like wet tissue paper, honestly. So really, really good stuff there. The most casual, just blasting away of these high-level armored enemies that you can possibly get. Maybe not the highest possible, but very, very good, very, very casual, and very, very easy to execute. A nice way you can use this weapon is you use a secondary fire, proc them up a little bit, as you can see lots of status procs, and then use these primary shot to one-shot them. So status proc with a secondary, one-shot with the primary. So very good there, as it's like, if you're not cheesing it with Avenger, the secondary shot does not really crit that much. Not getting access to that big crit multiplier, which gets multiplied by Prime Ravage as well. So yeah, that's good right there. This is the build I recommend to most people, as it does not require any Hunter Munitions, and it's hilariously strong. Like, okay, so here's the thing. Is Galvanized Savvy bugged in this? Because it sure doesn't look like it. We're hitting like 33,000s. If it is bug fixed, look at how many statuses we can proc here. This thing's status proc potential is extremely high. Now keep in mind, the secondary shot, it will do status on impact of the explosion and while the explosion goes off. So that's double procking your status there, getting them very procced up. And we've also got the primary shot with impact, puncture, slash, and armada elements. So lots of proc potential here, guys. But here's one of the problems with this weapon. We'll see if we can simulate it right here. For some reason, the explosions on the secondary shot do not go through walls. I'm not sure why. There's certain other weapons it does not go through walls on either. So as you can see right here, she should be getting hit by this. It just does not go through walls for some reason. The Tomb Finger primary also does not go through walls. Even look at that. It's a weird line of sight thing. I'm shooting right here, and then right in front of my face is not taking the damage. Like, how close do we have to be to get this damage off? Like, that just looks broken to me. Now, it finally did hit her, but how wonky did that look to you? That can sometimes affect you in mission. It basically just lets you not shoot directly through walls. If you didn't know this, almost every other explosion weapon can shoot directly through walls without line of sight. It's basically this one, the Tomb Finger, and a couple others that just can't do this for some reason. So, let's go over the next build, which will be a status procker build. Now, this will be basically if you're trying to use a condition overload procker. Now, the big problem with this is, first off, DE should probably unnerf corrosive procs. If you didn't know this, haven't played the game for a while, corrosive used to fully remove enemy armor if you stacked it up enough. Now it does not do that. I think it's like 80% armor removal at max stacks. Up to 80% of the armor's value. That's not fair. Like, heat does 50% from one proc. So I think they should unnerf corrosive procs. If you're doing like a high-level endurance run, it is fair that, using Ash-Seeking Shuriken or other armor removal stats are actually more beneficial than using corrosive procs. But if you don't want to do that, this will give you viral, corrosive, and cold. Very good against Demolus. You can easily switch the cold to heat to get your viral, corrosive, and heat. Basically debuffing the enemies to the max, but not slowing them down. So that's something you could definitely do as well. This is the condition overload build. Now, something I'm running here is primary dexterity. This will let you have increased combo duration for your melee weapon, which is good if you're using a combo-focused light attack build, like we'll show in the Kana Prime here. We've also got Amalgam Shotgun Spaz. This will give you increased fire rate and give you increased revive speed for your teammates and your companions. This will basically mean where you can, if you're doing a group mission, you can revive your teammates faster. You can revive your pet faster. A lot of people in endurance runs use the Panzerwelpe to give you increased, or basically to make the pet immortal. So that's something that might not be super valuable, but I want to try. I've never actually used this mod. I want to try it out. You've got status duration to make those cold procs last longer, because, viral corrosive cold, not too bad. This will also technically make the viral procs last longer. And, you could just, search status up and see whatever else comes up. But the status duration mods for shotguns are actually really bad. Lingering Torment, an 11 drain mod, gives you 30% status duration. Hunter Track is a 9 drain mod, giving the same. Buff this, please. And we've got Fatal Acceleration in the Exilus slot. It's really, I guess you could put this on Galvanized Acceleration, but you need to get kills for that to go off. There's really, don't think too much about the Exilus slot on the Condition Overload procer build. Now here's the problem with this thing as a CO procer. If you've used the Nuke Core or anything like that before, you know that if you have your melee out, just swinging it around and then switching back to the Kuva Nuke Core, it's as easy as a click of your mouse. If you're using a primary, you actually need to ADS first to pull the primary back out if you're swinging around your melee. So here, this would be great for proc Condition Overload. Using the melee, I'm pressing the left click right now. You cannot use the alt fire if you are doing that. That's the same thing with the CEDO. You can't swap from this to alt fire on the Bubonico unless you first ADS or just fire off a normal shot, which is not too bad with our increased fire rate. But basically it's 2 button presses instead of just 1 like the Kuva Nuke Core. Hopefully that makes sense to people who do endurance runs and all that. But yeah, basically the general gist of this is, press the alt fire button, proc them up, then swing your melee and get increased damage with your slash procs through Condition Overload. It's definitely more practical in mission to try it out, but as you can see, she gets plenty of procs. Very high proc potential. These are good procs too. They're not just like, radiation and, impact, things we don't really care about. It's viral, it's corrosive, it's cold, it's heat if you mod for heat. So very, very good stuff there. Now let's show we'll show the Hunter Munitions Riven build, and then we'll get the final verdicts out. Because now going forward, guys, in these build videos, I'm gonna do final verdicts on weapons and grade them for the steel path. We're going to be grading it on a couple things. We'll be grading it on mob clearing potential, acolyte killing speed, and I think there was one other thing, proc potential as well. So we'll go over that in a second here after we show the 100 munitions build in the simulacrum. Now, this thing actually has 0.7 disposition rivens, so they're actually pretty decent stats. Unfortunately, we have negative damage Grenier on mine, and we'll be fighting Greniers right here, but just to show, it can basically just one-shot them 100 munitions very easily, and this is a pretty straightforward build right here. Even potentially with this mod Galvanized Savvy being bugged out. Like, honestly, it might. We've got multi-shot crit chance and minus damage Grenier. If this gets bug fixed, or if it's currently working, if it's currently working, this is fine. If it's not currently working, oh baby, we're going to have some crazy damage up in here. So, Prime Band the Grenier, basically just make it so your slash procs are stronger. We're going to kill the Butchers first, and it should be an easy one-shot on these Grenier, even with a negative damage Grenier Riven. Alright, they're dead. And it was not, so here's the thing about Hunter Munitions. Since we have a very high Hunter Munitions crit chance at 95 with our crit chance Riven, you have a very high chance of getting those slash procs on headshots to these Grenier. There you go. There's an easy one-shot right there. But keep in mind, she did have 10 viral procs from the Panzerwelpe. Honestly, guys, I feel like, just to be fair, you should be showing things that buff up your primaries, like Arcane Avenger, like Vigilante mod set, and even the Panzerwelpe. Those are things that you should be running if you're trying to main your primary. Because think about it. Before, you were running Arcane Strike here. You were running maybe some Gladiator mods on your companion. We had one Vigilante set bonus there. And that's basically what the reason I run Vigilante Pursuit is for when my Panzerwelpe dies, it actually gives me enemy radar while that thing is reviving. So let's get the final grades on the screen here. Overall, I'd say this thing is a top tier option in the primary slot. Our mob clearing is A for excellent, very, very good, especially if you're using the Arcane Avenger trick we've been showing in the previous videos, getting a huge crit multiplier on that secondary shot, 7 meter radius, so very, very good. I think it's like a 7 multiplier on the damage once you are basically rocking the Avenger with the Prime Ravage. Acolyte killing speed, actually pretty decent, not top tier. It's more of a B than an A, I'd say. Above average, as you can see, that Limbo Acolyte, we definitely, if we were focusing on him better, we could have easily killed him, but that's the most annoying Acolyte right there, disabling your abilities, and he can run up to you and stab you very easily. So, pretty good stuff there. If we totally camped him, we would have procced him up and destroyed him with the primary shot, but that's going to be something where Honestly, the Stropha will probably be better for killing them, or the Glaive Prime, but it is good. It definitely can work. And then for max status potential, S. Probably one of the best status proccers in the game, especially since it has the built-in viral, letting you do viral corrosive heat, viral corrosive cold, even things like the base toxin on here. I didn't even talk about that. This thing is a great corpus killer with the primary shot, with the built-in toxin damage, you know, bypass enemy shields, all that good stuff. Very, very nice in that regard as well. I'd say the overall score on this thing is A+, very close to S, being like the best primary in the game. The problem with it not being the best primary in the game is, you know, it could kill the Acolyte a little bit better, to be fair. We are running a corrosive build, which is good against the Acolyte. Also, this thing, the fact it doesn't go through walls, if it's a bug or not, that does hold it back slightly. Look at this box right here, trying to shoot this guy on the other side of the box. It could have screwed us there. We could have definitely lost out on some kills there because of the bug with the line of sight on this explosion. Also, like if you were to use this for Eidolon hunting, I'm sure it's okay for Eidolon hunting, but the base toxin's not going to really be doing you many favors if you're trying to modify radiation for the Eidolon fight. So, guys, hopefully you found this video helpful. Let me know how you feel about the weapon grading grades in the bottom left corner. We'll be probably doing that for videos going forward. And yeah, if they fix those mods, if those mods are bugged on this thing, expect that grade to go from A+ to S+, because it will be the God Gun. The bingo was probably right. If those mods are going to work on this thing properly, or if they're not currently working properly, the bingo was very right calling this thing the God Gun. Take it easy, guys. See you next time, and peace.